Hello and welcome to the I Can Do podcast with Benjamin Lee. We're here to talk about tips and strategies to have an I Can Do mindset. Life is what you put into it. Get the most you can. Here's your host, Benjamin Lee.
Good day. It is a new day. It's Monday, March 3rd, 2025, day number 8 of 300 of my Ultraspeaking project. If you want to learn more about Ultraspeaking, just go visit their website, ultraspeaking.com. And if you want to learn more about me, listen to all 297, soon to be 298 episodes of I Can Do. Please leave me a rating. Please subscribe and share. And join me if you are up to a challenge. Create your own challenge, your own impromptu improv speaking challenge, whatever it may be, podcast challenge. But just keep getting better every day. All right, you know the drill. 8-minute timer. We're on week number 2. 8 minutes, impromptu. Here we go. Sharing my screen. And here we go. Today's episode is all about embracing challenge. Look, life is a challenge. From the moment that we are born, we are faced with challenges, new environments, new obstacles, new goals, and finish lines that we're trying to get to every single day. When we're born, we don't have really any fears. Maybe the fear of falling, maybe the fear of being isolated, but we face challenges head on. Babies learn how to stand up and they learn how to fall. They learn how to crawl. They learn how to walk. They learn how to run. And they have a lot of failures every single day. But you know what? 6 months later, 1 year later, 2 years later, they have 10x their lives. I don't know when that begins to become even more challenging for us. Maybe it becomes more challenging for us as we get older. Maybe it's because we have more stakes or more things that are on the line that we don't want to embrace challenge as much. Let me stop by to tell you today that if I'm not willing to embrace challenge, our lives are going to be mediocre, 2x, and maybe not what they could fully be. Life is about challenge. Life is not going to be just sitting on the sidelines waiting for opportunities. We're going to have to get up and move and embrace the difficulties in life. Suffering is a part of life. That's a challenge. But suffering doesn't make anyone unique. What makes a person unique is how they respond to suffering. What makes us unique and different, what separates the best from the best or the best from all the rest is all about how they focus, how they view, how they reframe challenges, which is why I am doing this challenge right now. 300 days of podcasting. That's going to double the amount of episodes that I've had in almost 6 years. Now, I do have some fears. What if I lose my subscribers? What if they just get tired of me talking every single day? But I'm willing to take that chance because this is a challenge that is a little bit scary. It requires a lot of energy, and I don't know what's going to happen. Very much like every day, I don't know what's going to happen in life, and I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea what the prompt is going to be. I don't care. Because actually, this may be preparing me for something even bigger. In fact, it is. And if we can understand that about embracing challenges, then our lives will be much better. Let me give you an example. There's a book I've been reading, 10x is easier than 2x. 2x is where we're kind of in the same spot and you're doing the same thing year after year. Maybe you're even working a little bit harder, but we're staying at the same place. This was written by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. I believe he's the owner or co-founder of Strategic Coach in Canada. But 10x is actually easier than 2x, but there are challenges that are part of it. One, it requires a person to think differently as an entrepreneur or even as an individual about sometimes doing less or shifting from the 80% to really focusing upon the 20% that really matters, leaving certain clients behind or leaving certain activities behind to get to another level. I loved one of the examples, an individual who's going through finance or investor school or something like that. For 6 months, he was reaching out to clients, and he set a standard for himself, I think, of $50,000 or $100,000 clients. So he didn't get anyone for the first 6 months. I think it was a $100,000 client. But then eventually he got that first client, and then he got another client. And then he moved his minimal standard of 100,000 to 200,000. And then once he started getting 200,000 clients, he moved to 400,000 or 500,000. And he just kept increasing his standard. I love that because it was challenging for him those first 6 months, but the payoff was 10 times bigger than if he would have just taken any client that came his way. There is something about leaning into that challenge, leaning into that fear, embracing the challenge and saying, hey, I'm going to take this head on. This is going to be difficult. This may be tedious. This may require a lot of energy, but the payoff is always worth it. Michael Jordan for 8 years had to figure out how was he going to beat the Celtics, then how was he going to beat the Pistons. And for 8 years, he got knocked down and got picked back up, and Scottie Pippen got hit in the head and hit in the back, and they had to go through the Knicks, Celtics, Pistons, Knicks. But eventually they got to the finals in 1991. I still remember that because they had embraced all of those challenges and did not quit. They won back-to-back NBA finals. Embrace the challenge. What is your challenge that you're facing right now? Challenges come in a lot of different ways. And it is much easier for me to say on a podcast, embrace the challenge. But I do hope you will see that I am currently embracing a challenge. It is a challenge that I created. And sometimes that may be what we have to do a little bit more, that we have to start creating more challenges for ourselves so that when other challenges present themselves, we have data, we have experience, we have confidence already built in where we can say, oh, I can figure this out because I figured that out. I'll give you an example. I'm so thankful back in 2023, something finally clicked for me. Back in high school, I took an English class. I had a journal and I wrote down 25 things that I wanted to do. One of those 25 things was to run a marathon. Now, I ran cross country in high school. I didn't look at this list every day or every year, maybe even every decade, but I held on to that journal. And I was looking at that shortly after my birthday. I had started running, I think, 1 or 2 miles with my friend Luke. We would just hold each other accountable. And then I looked at that and I said, I need to make a change. And now will be the best time for me to run this marathon. And so I signed up for one. I paid for it immediately. And it was something that obviously I had never done before. It took me 5.5 hours to finish it. I ran, I walked, I ran, I walked, I ran, I walked. I put in the time during that fall season. Finishing that marathon, going through and embracing that challenge of changing my schedule to make sure I got the runs in, asking for help and having other guys help me out with my running plan. It made a total paradigm shift for me. So I can look back at running that marathon, embracing that challenge for situations now in 2025. So that's what I want to urge you to start thinking about. The challenge that you face today in March of 2025 just may be preparing you for March of 2030. But if you don't embrace it now, you're setting yourself up potentially for failure. So embrace the challenge because that is how you'll be successful. There you go. Thank you very much. That's today's podcast, Embracing Challenge. What is your challenge? Go after it. I'd love to hear from you. I can do, so can you. Take care. God bless.